This is ACOFAE. Laura Marie and Jessica Marie proudly present a collection of fandoms and exploration, a podcast. Fair warning, everything the hosts say is explicit, full of spoilers and adult content, and shall not be used against them. They have opinions. Let's try not to drag anyone for expressing themselves and just have fun for an hour. We all deserve it.
This episode contains spoilers from the Shadowhunters TV show pilot as well as Shadowhunters Movie, with mentions of the Shadowhunters universe, Sarah J. Maas, Reign, Game of Thrones, and Fourth Wing. For full list, please see show notes.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to ACOFAE, your weekly deep dive into the fantasy, literature, and fandoms that we love. I'm Laura Marie.
And I'm Jessica Marie.
And today we are celebrating Cassie Clare's birthday by discussing the 2016 FreeForm pilot of Shadowhunters, The Mortal Instruments.
Which is so fun because we've obviously covered Shadowhunters, the movie. We have that episode. We've also covered most of the books. I don't want to say all. We still have novellas and other ones to explore. But we typically do, but like, we're coming to the end, right? Like we have, Cassie Clare has said like she has the Wicked Powers, which is like the next trilogy of books that are coming out. She's currently kind of wrapping up the Shadowhunters Chronicles. And so we usually do the holidays in December because that's when our Shadowhunters celebrate their Yule. And you know what? It's July and some people celebrate, you have Christmas in July, you have holidays in July. It's kind of like almost, a little over halfway point. So what a great way to celebrate Cassie and just the world that she's created and the old friends that we always love being back with by going through the pilot. Like I've only seen this once many years, like 2021, I want to say. And it was at the guidance of Laura Marie. Before we even started reading the Mortal Instrument books, you were like, watch the first episode just to get a vibe, just so you can like put yourself in the city, like the setting, understand kind of where we're going. And I was just like, okay. And you're like, it's based in New York. That's pretty much all you have to tell me to get me to watch something. I'll be like, cool, got it, locked in. And I thought, because I definitely watched it and I was just like, I knew nothing. I was just kind of like vibing with it. And then watching it this time, I was like, was I not watching it the first time? I definitely didn't. I didn't get it. I think that's what it was. So that being said, like, share us your journey. Like, did you do the books first? Did the show come on your radar? Was it a kind of crossover of the two? Like, share with all of us.
Books first. But this came to me as I was moving to Germany. So it was like something that was on Netflix International. So I was able to, even though this was a freeform American show, I was able to watch this almost in real time on Netflix International because of those licensing rights. And this was one of those shows that kind of like got me through those initial like moving trials and tribulations in Germany. It was something that I could just like sit down and watch. It was, we can all agree that this is not accurate as far as like book accuracy goes. This is not accurate, but like, as we can see by example of a failed movie franchise and a failed TV franchise, that this is a difficult thing to adapt. And it is a difficult thing to, I think, make relevant to an audience with an increasingly lower attention span. And so, okay. I just want to say very specifically that the show is not good. The show is not good. However, the characters, more or less, are very good. Jace is not great. Clary is fine. Alec, Isabel, Simon, Raphael, excellent. Luke, okay. Jocelyn, fine. Valentine, excellent. Like Magnus, perfect. Like the casting there and the embodiment of the characters there is really excellent. And of course, the romance between Alec and Magnus really carry the show through. I think they got like 4 seasons out of this. So that is just wonderful. The character part of it. The rest of it though is just like the going back to what I said about like this being difficult to adapt. It is a glaring issue that there's so much goddamn technology in this. Like Shadowhunters do not use technology. Specifically, I can think of very specific example that, Drusilla has to have the TV like kind of hidden with like tapes and stuff to watch horror movies. The computer is like its own special thing kind of hidden away at the LA Institute. They're really not supposed to have it. Like the telephone was the thing, you know, the special thing that got wired in. Like they're not supposed to have these things, like the phones, like they're not supposed to have these things. That kind of goes against like the tenets of their culture. So to have, that's one thing, to have this war center in the New York Institute with like all of this like Tom Cruise movie with the precognizance, and he's like whooshing with the what is it? Minority Report. He's like whooshing all of the information on the screens. Yeah, they're like doing that here, and you're just like, what are you doing? What are you doing? But again, how do you make a culture with no technology interesting to us, a viewership that is like saturated with technology?
I do think in the screen adaptation process, when Cassie was involved, again, that was probably one of the things where she might have pushed back on. And then you have a studio saying, but the audience, like, how are you going to bring an audience in, right? And I know we were talking about this before we started recording because, you know, again, to what you said, and we've kind of gone off on some tangents and some of our most recent episodes towards the end about like attention spans and media literacy and what does that mean? And part of that is probably like, well, here's this whole demographic. How are you going to target this audience that's newer? And, you know, you even said you can't start with the dark artifices, because this is foundational to that. And how do you have a world that is set in present day New York without with a community without technology? Because this is not something that is, you know, in Pennsylvania and in an Amish community. So how do you get the audience involved to understand that the way it is depicted in the Shadowhunters movie with Lily Collins and the one and only, why am I blanking on his name?
Jamie
Campbell, and the one and only Jamie Campbell Bower. So I understand this in between. And then like people, I think a new person who's not going to pick up the book and has no intention to, they're going to be like, is this a period piece? Are they stuck? Oh, it's modern day New York. There's going to be a question there. The other side of it is the infernal devices. Like that would be the period piece, because period pieces will always hook somebody in. They will, it won't always feel dated. Maybe the technology in which it was recorded will feel dated, but the concept itself won't. But you're going to have to make people want to care about those characters and in a period piece. And it's already kind of difficult to get people interested in period pieces to begin with.
And also the special effects aspect of this is difficult as well, because nowadays special effects look cheap. In 2016, this was fine. It's not great. But it's difficult. It's a difficult thing to do. The runes, to activate all of that stuff so that we, the viewer, know what's going on is difficult. Filmmakers have to assume that like we are stupid. So that's why we're like showing the rune on the hand with this, all of this stuff. It's like, Did we? Okay.
But they do have to assume that because they are targeting an audience who they have to assume has never read the book. What is going to get that audience interested in? Because it's like, well, they don't need to target the Shadowhunter community. They don't need to target them. They're already invested. They're already curious. They already want to see. What are you going to do with an adaptation for people who, again, the numbers keep showing that people don't have the intention of reading. Like, yes, we are a very niche community, and there's how lucky are we that we can, if something is made well, we want to go back and let me get more of it. Let me go ahead and read it. I want to soak up every ounce. But again, I think we've learned with the book community, we are just such a small percentage of what a studio is looking to do. And only recently are they seeing the impact of those numbers. For how long will that work? We don't know, because the only thing they're adapting lately is hockey romances, because the success of Heated Rivalry, and every single hockey romance that has been adapted after that has been straight couples.
And of course, we have to start with Jace and Clary, which is one of the most problematic couples to start with, which is just so really, we must start here. We can't start with Tessa and Will and James. Please, please, please. But no, we are here. Okay. So Shadowhunters, the Mortal Instruments.
Fuck you, COVID, once again, because that was happening. It was announced it was going to be on BBC. And I'm just so mad. And it would have been done well on BBC. Please. Look how well Downton Abbey did.
It would have been glorious. Glorious. But we have this. We have 2016 FreeForm, The Mortal Instruments, this first episode, The Mortal Cup. It's always this, right? It's always this. It's the same story over and over again. And here we are again. So it's the cold open. We're trailing a demon, right? Alex, Izzy, Jace. We're shown what a Shadowhunter is. We're all in leather. We're in black. Izzy's in white, platinum. And they're trailing a demon, and they take the demon to Pandemonium. Demon.
I love that. I love it.
It's so great. And Jace bumps into Clary, and Clary goes, "Hey, watch where you're going." And Jace turns around, is like, "You can see me?" And she's stares at him. And then we have our intro, and then it's 8 hours earlier. Okay.
Which again makes sense to an audience who's never read the book. They're going to be like, that's their hook. Now we need to figure out how we got there. We, as readers, would know how we got there. But, how are you staging this to captivate an audience who you're like, let's get some hot people and see if they'll be intrigued?
To be fair, Dominic Sherwood, not an excellent Jace, but objectively a very attractive man.
Yes.
Ooh,
yes.
Damn.
I'm going to say he's not the best Jace, but, physically, he's boy, I would think that his physicality, he could fuck a demon up.
Yeah.
I'm questioning a little bit with love you, Jamie, but the lankiness is going to question, you're going to fuck up a demon. I'm going to have some concerns.
Yeah, Dominic's got the heterochromia in his eyes. You're just like, oh God, he's a very attractive man. He's on the con scene
now. Have you seen people doing videos of his fan interactions?
Yes, sure. Yeah, he's very grateful. He's a very nice man. Hopefully, he makes his way on the con circuit soon. But again, one of the changes here is that they aged everybody up. So instead of Clary turning 16, she's turning 18 here, which I guess makes more sense and is easier to stomach than a 15, a fresh 16-year-old going to the club. But
your fake ID still. I mean, either way, the fake ID. He was like, your fake ID is not going to work. Honestly, I've had a fake ID. They'll work. Just be confident. They'll work.
It is so important to note that these books were written a hell of a while ago. So the millennials will understand a 16-year-old going to the club. Of course. 100%. Of course. Are you shitting me? black / lace, like
show a little cleavage. I mean, if you all have listened to our Legend Board episode, a lot of people were like, how is Brie getting away with all of this when she's 16 and in college? Let us remind you of my story that I was a minor my first year of college, and people are dumb. And all I would say is, I was like, I have my college ID. And they would be like, yeah, but that's not your ID. And I go, what person is underage in college? And they were like, you're right. People are dumb. Just be confident.
Just be confident. It's amazing what you can pull off. So it's just one of these like little changes. Everybody's a little bit older, so it's easier to palate. Clary's turning 18. She's accepted into the Brooklyn Academy of Art. Like, this is all kind of like standard. This is all standard story stuff. Very interested in her graphic novel. And then we go for coffee with Simon. Jess, how do we feel about Simon? You have such complicated feelings about Simon.
I did when I first read it. I love him now. So it was just like fun to just like visit Simon and not hate on Simon. And I do feel, and I know we'll get there because we are, we have, I don't even want to say it's a meet cute. They, him and Isabel meet. But this feels more flirtation happening than in the movie.
Yeah.
Right off the bat.
He's like, right off the bat. I love it.
Yeah, he's like not skipping a beat. And I love like I feel like everybody is making sure that Simon and Clary aren't together. They're like, okay, we are clocking everybody because we're all interested. And I love that. I like Isabel's intrigued because she's also intrigued about this friendship dynamic where there's no romance involved. I don't know because I know in the movie and I know in the book, Isabel is not around a lot of other women her age because the Shadowhunters are dying. So she's not around it. But again, this is an institute full of people. So I have to assume she's not as, I don't want to say lonely. It's just a different dynamic. It's like I was the only girl in my family for 10 or 11 years. So I was only around boys. Having my sister born was like, whoa, different dynamic. Like it's just different. Like you learn how to adjust to that. So that's where I don't necessarily, again, I've only seen the pilot in like half of the second episode. So I don't know if we see more of that in the series.
So the thing with the rest of the show is that Isabel goes on this crazy plot line with Raphael. I can't get into it. It's ridiculous. It is not something ever that Isabel would do, but whatever. It is difficult. It is difficult, but it is so fun though to have in the back of our heads the like kind of like where everybody is nowadays, because when Simon starts singing Forever Young in the coffee shop for his gig, you're just like, oh, Simon, a couple episodes from now, you will be forever young. Yes, you will. Yes, you will. Ugh. Yes, you will. But again, the first time you watch that, you would not get, that's like a little joke for the book readers.
But it's one of those things because I know we've like reread and revisited, and that's a constant thing that Cassie Clare does in the books too, right? Because you're like, oh, I can't wait till you read this part. Or when we did the Mortal Instruments to the Infernal Devices to Dark Artifices, then to Last Hours. Once we were in Last Hours, I was like, oh my God, this is this, and this is this, and this is, I was having so much fun with all of these Easter eggs that you just get to enjoy it. Even like it's such a fun journey. But again, if we went in a different order, it wouldn't have had the same impact.
It really wouldn't have. But that, I don't want to toot my own horn. Toot.
Toot it. toot so hard.
Toot toot. We meet Simon in the coffee shop. Clary got into art school. Woohoo! Woohoo! This is a really great conversation. Again, my opinion that Catherine McNamara cannot act in this show. Everybody else is acting circles around her. So there's this conversation that she has where she goes, Simon, like, don't you realize that Marine is in love with you? Like all these smart people, you're so smart, you don't realize that this girl is in love with you. And he looks at her and he was like, I guarantee I'm not the only smart person to make that mistake. And it's just like, that's good acting, sir. Like, I believe the hell out of you. But she said, yeah.
I was like, he's in love because he thinks he's in love with her at this time too. So she's just like right over her head.
Yeah, she's got nothing. Marine here is his bandmate and not the, like, how old is she? She's like 14.
I forgot all about her, honestly. And I forgot, like, when I think of a band, I think of more people than two. So when they went from like Champagne Enema and honestly, like, champagne, if that's how you have an enema, that's not a bad way with champagne, right? But like, and then I'm thinking like of a band, and then of course they had the band name, and then you're just like, I can imagine, because it also reminds me of you on your like island when before Sarah J. Maas and all of the universes and were what they are today. You were I would ask you, I was like, how did the fandom communicate outside of Tumblr? Because you didn't have anything. And you were like, honestly, you would hope to find fan art and then go on to Etsy shops, because those were the creators that had the passion for the fandom and not these mass produced things that we're seeing right now. And you were like, that's where everybody lived. And that's how I feel like the Shadowhunters were. So then you were clutching to everything that you were getting fed from this.
Yes, now everything is gross in AI, but that's a different conversation. Clary would hate AI. She loses her biscotti into her sketchbook. Classic canon. I mean, canon situation. Like, we've seen it.
I forgot that it was the biscotti, because again, I don't remember the first book that well. But I was like, I put biscotti going into the drawing, like, we know the mortal, like, that's how we find the more, like, that is literally, you want to talk about the pattern, Laura Marie, this is like first 5 minutes instead of 5 chapters. You got your pattern right there.
Yeah, it's right there. It's right there. It's right there. I mean, excellent. They're going to celebrate her 18th birthday after the band gig. I mean, that's wonderful. Luke is a cop in this. I mean, I prefer him being a librarian, book dealer, antique guy, but whatever. So Luke, as a cop, has to have a case, and his case is that there are 7 dead bodies that have been drained of blood that keep showing up. Now, question, is that Matthew's sister? That dead body in the red?
Oh, is it Alexandra? I don't know.
It looks like it. I looked, I couldn't find any credit on it, but it sure as hell looked like it.
Now I'm going to have to go back and figure it out, because it would be like an uncredited thing. I'm going to have to go back. It wouldn't surprise me, but I always thought that Alexandra was on the scene before Matthew.
Yeah, definitely. So I don't know if she would, it looks like her. I just wanted to bring it up. Clary goes to Dots. We get our top. We get the whole tarot reading, antique, whatever. Dot is being weird. Dot is like, I love you. She's like kind of being off. Clary's clocking that. And she goes up to see her mom. Her mom being weird.
I'm still pissed at Jocelyn. All these years later, I'm still fucking pissed, because it's her 18th birthday. She just turned 18, yada, yada, yada. And like, she's scared, because obviously, like, she's 18. She's been stealing her memories, or like repressing them, more or less. And she had that control because she was a minor. She's not a minor anymore, she being Clary. And now she's frantic. Now she's in a rush. We really got to talk. And she's like, Mom, chill. Like, tomorrow morning. I have plans. You've known about this, but yes, you've known about this. So you should, that's on you. And now you're scared because you're going to get caught instead of preparing her, which I'm still, you know how there are certain things where we get older and then you wonder, you're like, oh, I know I'm getting older because now I kind of see where the parents are coming from. I still don't see it this way to a small extent. I get it. That is your child. You do anything to protect them. Da, 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 da. But when you know that you're up against a clock, more or less, too, now that's on you. Yes, okay, you have till she's 18. So why don't you tell her at 17? That's poor on the parent. And I know everybody's like, oh, you don't know unless you're a parent. What the fuck ever. Because this isn't just I have to tell you X, Y, and Z. This is quite literally life or death. So give yourself an earlier, I'm going to tell her at 17. It's going to be heavy. It's going to be confusing. It's going to be a lot. But now I have a year to prepare you till all words are off. That's how I would do it if I was a parent.
I'm just thinking about, I think in book 5 or maybe book 6, maybe book 5, when Jocelyn comes back and Clary sees her for the first time and Clary just crashes out on her. It's more and more justified.
She's gone through 5 fucking books.
Yeah.
Yeah, because now it's not just this X, Y, and Z. I've had 5 books of dealing with this bullshit that you didn't prepare me for, and I could have been prepared.
Yeah.
That's the thing. And then and then you have those 4 or 5 books that you're riddled with guilt because you don't know where your mom is, and then you find your mom and she's unconscious. So you're like, it's a lot. It's a lot. And then in the book, she's doing it at 16. So now you're dealing with the heaviness of how everything is just amplified at that age. And now it's life or death, and it's hormones and everything. Clary is valid for her crash out.
Yeah, she really is. I mean, you're so right with the panic and the overwhelming guilt about all of this, because it is easy to watch Clary in these first 2 episodes and be like, God, she's so annoying. All she's doing is harping about getting her mom back. That's every single second, all she's talking about is mom, 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 mom. But what she's doing is reminding all of these magical people that she has a specific reason for being here. And that's her only reason. She really doesn't care about anything else. And it is heartbreaking for Clary to have to learn about her mom's entire secret life. And that is a huge part of Clary's character development, is learning not only did her mom wipe her memories of this 8-year-old when she was in the park and the monster attacked her, what we see on screen, but she also wiped and in the books too, it's the memories of the runes all over Jocelyn that Clary saw. It's all of this stuff with Luke. It's very invasive.
Yeah. And it's not just when people talk about oh, I forget my parents had a life before me. And it's not what that is. To an extent it is because of how it impacts her. It's not just oh, my mom had a life, because also it's the mother-daughter it's the quote unquote healthy mother-daughter relationship that they've had their whole life, that it has always been just the 2 of them. So, and even Clary says to Maureen in the beginning, she goes, my mother would never lie to me. She doesn't you don't know. It's because, and that's how it's portrayed. It's just been the 2 of them. They've had nobody but each other. There is nothing to hide, because to her, she's we've just left this great life. I mean, Antiquities is where money is at, because that place in Brooklyn is gorgeous. And it's not just and it's tucked away in a garden. It reminds me of some of the places in Italy that we've stayed, where you just oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. But it's one of those things where you're just holy, it's another thing. And she's finding out through other people her history, and she has to just kind of well, I guess I got to play ball because I know nothing of what's happening and what's going on. And I can't trust Luke. I mean, us as the reader, we understand Luke and where he's coming from, but she doesn't know that. She's just seeing things and was pushed through a portal, and now she walks in on a conversation of, oh, I'm just playing the game. Honestly, Clary was also the smartest. I'm not going to the detective. I don't know what the fuck is happening. I'm getting out of Dodge and trying to figure it out on myself because I can't trust anybody, including my mother.
Yeah. And also, it doesn't help that she's learning her mom's history, and it just so happens to be like the worst possible history ever. Like, oh, you were horrifically racist and just awful killers that went around preaching your doctrine because your cult leader told you. Like, it's awful. It's awful. So to learn all of that, and then to see, like, we meet Hodge. Like, okay. Let's get there. Let's get there. Okay. So Clary has to go out with Simon. Simon comes over. Luke is there. He's like, hey, we have to have like serious talk. She's like, what's with you guys? Like, I'm 18. I'm not going on some epic journey. We get the spray paint.
I'm just an artist. My life has never been more mundane.
Yeah. My life's never been more mundane. I was just an ordinary girl. We get the spray paint, so that's why we're outside of the club. That's, how we meet Jace. And Simon and Clary, off they go. And Clary promises to meet her mom for breakfast.
Also, could you imagine, because I know my parents wouldn't, even when I turned 18, your mother being like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow morning. You can be out all night. You're a senior.
Nope, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. We get a rooftop car talk, just establishing that Clary just doesn't have any family. And like, that's kind of like weird, right?
Which I also think is judgy for Maureen, you stupid ass.
For sure. But Maureen is looking for anything. Maureen's in love with Simon.
Yeah. But that part of the conversation, I was like, you don't know her. You don't know her family dynamic. Yes. It's actually not weird that it's just the two of them. How about that? That's how I see it.
How about that? And then we're at the Institute, and we see Isabel, and Isabel is walking with the wig. Now, one of the things that they really changed about, like I said, the characters are really good. They are, but something that they really took out of this is the humor. Like, Shadowhunters are very funny. It's like that quick wit. It's like the jokes. It's like, Jace tries here. It just doesn't, it's not fast enough. It works in the movie. It doesn't really work here. But it works a little bit between Alec, Jace, and Isabel about the wig. Because, Alec is like, what is that? And Isabel's like, demons dig blondes. He goes, that's white. She goes, that's platinum. And Jace goes, Isabel, awesome. Demons dig blondes. And Alec goes, it's platinum. It's just funny.
It's so funny. It's so good. I like their banter together. I do think, what was funny also is I think I'm so, we've read a lot of the books, and to see the growth that we have with Alec, because like, he's so buttoned up and by the rules, and I don't like this, and everything is black and white. There's no gray area. And to see how he's, I don't want to say soft, because he's not soft, but I think he's just seen so much, he's been so much more exposed, and obviously, like, Magnus has changed his world and his outlook on how he approaches things so much. That is so, like, I forgot how rigid he was, I think I can say.
And he doesn't understand why he's so angry at Clary. Like, there's just a lot. And Isabel kind of is like,
yes, I noticed that she clocks him in this one, but like, not in a way, not like how it's directly in the book. But again, it's just like the first episode. She's like, are you sure? Are you sure? And he doesn't even know himself. It's like one of those things where people are like, oh, I knew before you knew. You're like, what?
Yeah. In this one, Isabel is like real big into science. She's like a scientist. Get me a sample. I'll make something. Okay. Science. Okay. Science is like, science. Okay, the whole LA Institute storyline is about how there is no Shadowhunter access to mental health care. Let's just put that, like, come on now. So there is no, Isabella ain't in no science lab cooking up stuff. Let's just be so clear on that.
Shadowhunters care only about Shadowhunters right now. And like saving the world from demons. It's weird. They're in a weird place because it's like, we only care about us, but we also care about like the good of all mankind. But we also hate humans because mundanes suck.
Yeah.
Why are you trying?
So this is where everything kind of catches up. Simon, he's singing Forever Young. Clary sees that Marine is totally locked in. They're outside. Clary's painting the van. Rock solid panda. Simon takes his shirt off and both of them are like, And
I think everybody was like, Simon, where have you... That was not a body who's just like, what? I just have a natural metabolism. Simon's been
working out. Yeah, Simon's been working out. And this is where our storylines catch up. This is where Jace bumps into her, and this is the extended scene. So we see Clary talk to Jace, and we see Simon and Marine see Clary talk to nothing because Jace is invisible. And
I forgot Shadowhunters were invisible.
Yeah.
Because they've been so out and prevalent in everything, even in the past when they're like, oh, we just told everybody there was a flu. That's why.
Yeah. So it's really, they play it up here. They're like, Clary, and she goes, please don't like stop looking at me like I'm insane. And then she undoes her green hoodie, zip up coat. And she's like, I'm going to the club. Blah, 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 blah. And into the club we go. And Simon's like, your fake ID is terrible. But again, just have confidence. Just have confidence.
But also their fake IDs would have been terrible too. So they needed to shut up. And
it doesn't matter. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Jace is in there. Clary's following them. Simon and Marine follow her. And then we pan around the club. We see Magnus and we see 2 circle members and we see the demon hand over mundane blood to the 2 circle members. And we're like, what is that? What is that going on? And Magnus clocks that. And Magnus is like, get the fuck out of my bar. Fuck off right now. And they're like, it's in the past. And Magnus has his cat eyes. And he's like, it's a blink of an eye to me. Magnus, hell yeah. It's great casting. It's great casting.
Forever, Magnus will be the best character in this whole series.
Yep, he's excellent. We're in the private room. Isabella's dancing as a distraction. Off comes the wig. They're questioning the demon. Clary comes in screaming and screws up everything. And, Jace drops the Seraph blade. She picks it up and it lights up for her. Boom. Confirmation. She's a Shadowhunter. It would not have lit up if she were not a Shadowhunter. Shadowhunter blood breeds true. And she is as pure blood as you could possibly get.
Right. And I also think like it's interesting because Jace is like so hard-headed for the longest time. He's like, you are. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm just me. I picked up this thing. I was able to see you. He's looking at it as this, like, he's also very, like, logical and curious and, like, what do you mean you don't know? Because to the Shadowhunters, again, plot, there isn't a lot. They know, all Shadowhunters know who all the Shadowhunters are because there's just only so many. So who is this person who nobody knows, who isn't on their radar, and she herself is clueless? It's only later till he starts realizing, oh, you really don't know. Like, but I mean, he's kind of an asshole about it too. He's like, let me just make things simple. Everything you think isn't real is. And I'm like, they were like vampires and fairies. And I was like, okay, calm down. You don't have to be an asshole about it.
It's Jace though. He does. That's part of him. That's part of him. Something that I find really real is Clary, actually, something that I find completely unrealistic is Clary comes screaming out of the club and empty cab right in front of her, yellow cab right in front of her. Boom, drive! Bitch, where?
So
Bitch, where?
Unrealistic. I've done follow that car once.
Yeah, like come on, Clary. What is going on? Whatever. She goes home and she does tell her mom everything, which I do really appreciate. She just gushes to her mom, and her mom is like, "Hold up, who is it? What did it look like? Did it look like this? The runes? All of this stuff."
It's a testament and an added layer to show like the real type of relationship that Clary and her mom had, that they didn't have secrets. There was nothing to have. There was nothing to hide because their relationship was that open and communicative, or at least so Clary thought. She's like, I don't know. She's like, and her thing was, I think I was drugged at a club again, because she's thinking, Luke, who's basically my stepdad, he is a cop. There's this, that, the other thing. I've been seeing this. And then I also saw that thing on the Steely that you gave me for my birthday. Must have saw it somewhere because I sketched it out this morning and I saw it again tonight. But I'm really seeing things. I'm drugged. Let me get tested. Like, I need a safe place. And I love that for the relationship that Clary thought she had with her mom.
Yeah, because her mom is like, actually.
And to be so casual about it. Like you said, she was like, oh, like this? What do you mean like this?
Yeah, like this. And then Dot comes in screaming, like, Magnus killed. We have to get out of here. Everything's here. And then it's like, boom, boom, boom. Everything happens. So we get, Jocelyn gets the potion. Clary gets the necklace. Dot opens the portal. All of those things happen like kind of at the same time. Clary gets pushed through the portal. Dot goes downstairs to hold him off. And Jocelyn, I don't know, aura farms a little bit in the hallway with her sword. And then she's attacked and she's fucking taken. And she burns Clary's room. That's canon. She burns.
Who put out that fire?
Nobody. Because the apartment is supposed to be ashes. Like, the apartment is supposed to be nothing and burned to the ground. That's why she's like, I don't have a home to go back to. Because realistically, it's burned into nothing. But here, it's just her room. Whatever. Yeah. So Clary goes through the portal to the police station. And Jocelyn starts facing off with the Circle members who threw Dot through a window. And the Circle members are like, we're taking you to Valentine. And Jocelyn's like, Valentine's alive. He'll never take me alive. Glug, glug, glug. And down she goes. And they take her. Boom. Clary overhears Luke, like Jess said, talking to the Circle members, playing the game. And Clary fucks off and goes back to her house. And that is where she's attacked by the demon and Jace saves her. And eventually she's, this is where she is actually drugged by the demon venom. And she goes back to the Institute. Meanwhile, Valentine is at Chernobyl. Okay. That's safe. That's a safe place to be. Safe. Yeah. He's at Chernobyl doing his experiments that he likes to do. We know that man likes to inject things into people. We know that. I
guess Chernobyl's where you do it.
I guess. I mean, that is canon. Something that I really do like about Valentine specifically here is he's the same actor that played the king in Rain. So he plays crazy so well. So when he does the like, fuck you, that's my wife here. I love that because the guy is like, well, she's a mundane. She smells like a mundane, like whatever. And he looks at him like, are you fucking kidding me? Jocelyn Fairchild hid from us for 18 years. And you think that she is, oh, fuck you. And he kills him right there and then. Like, that's my wife. You're going to talk shit about my wife?
I know. I will say. And he was like, the audacity that you have to speak. Look how smart and intelligent this love of my life is.
Yeah.
And you got the run over on you, the runaround on you. On all of us.
On all of us. Fuck you. That's my wife. Like, crazy man is crazy. And he's crazy about his wife. And that is something. Okay. We're at the Institute. Wakes up to Isabel. Canon. Like, we always wake up to Isabel. Claire's got the healing rune on her neck. She can't see it though. And Alec, the mundane shouldn't be here. It is revealed that if Clary was a mundane, putting that rune on her would have killed her in a horrific way. But like, Isabel's
what
like,
a chance to take.
Yeah, Isabel was like, he was like almost completely certain that you were not a mundane. Alec is like, we need to report this to the Clave. And this is where Isabel clocks him about like, why are you being so mean about this? Just because Jace is showing interest. And Alec deflects and is like, no, this girl is the reason why we didn't finish the mission. We didn't get the information. We didn't get all of this. Alec here is really burdened by responsibility, which, makes him, I mean, there's so much going on with Alec, but he's very, very mean to Clary for so many reasons. But their relationship is very bad for like the first couple books. And it starts here. And it is here where Jace drops the line of like, all the legends are true. And Clary's like, just like, help me find my mom. And this is where Simon calls. And he found her on Find My Friend, which I just love.
Which is fair.
2 days. It's been 2 days. Like, and he did.
That's right. And he was like, where the hell have you been for 2 years?
Where are you? You're outside of this abandoned fucking church. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Why did you, if you were that, like, we've had this conversation. You've said, if you don't even hear from me by a certain point of the day, you're like, proof of life, please. So can you imagine if you didn't hear from me for 2 days and you had my location? You would call, what's it called? Not a citizen's arrest. A wellness check on my ass.
Yeah, for real. Because it's just realistic. Like, he's her best friend. So he gets there and she's like, okay, I'm coming out. I need to get dressed. And he's like, what? Why do you need to get dressed? Why do you need to get dressed? She's like, shut up. I'll be out in a second. I'll be there. And she comes out in Isabel's clothes and Jace says the line that is canon. Well, Isabel's very comfortable with her body. Canon. We love it.
I think it's fair for Simon to be like, are you okay? This is not my best friend. For all intents and purposes, that is an abandoned church. Are you hanging out with, like, did you spiral for 2 days? Because that is also known for, different recreational drugs that people explore. They're like, you lose track of time. So he's like, did that happen? Are there people in there who? And then you add the fact that Jace comes out, all these other people are coming out that he can't see, and she's still talking to what appears to him nothing.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely nothing. And then, of course, the circle member comes and attacks, and Simon can't see any of it. And Clary's like screaming and like, woo, 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 woo. And Simon is just like, what is happening? And then the circle member goes down, the invisibility comes off, and then she goes, Simon, or Jace, like, please take off your invisibility so my best friend doesn't think I'm crazy. And then Simon has to process what is happening right in front of him. Of course, they were, they're glamored. And as Jace kills a circle member, he goes, this is from my father. So this is a plot line. Simon freaks out. And this is where we have, the show's almost over, the pilot. And then this is like the classic, like, the struggle, right? Simon is like, Clary, this is crazy. Come with me. We need to go to the police. We need to go somewhere. And Jace is like, you're a shadow hunter. Come with me and let's fucking deal with this. And then it just like ends there. And then Valentine is informed that the cup is still lost. They don't know where the cup is, and that he has a daughter, and that he would like to meet his daughter expeditiously and to arrange that. And that is the end of the pilot. Ba, 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 ba. Very fun.
I love it. You know what I love? It's funny because, it's a usual pilot. I think it's like between 38 and 42 minutes, especially if it was on TV and you had ads. So it's fun because I don't remember all the details from the book. So, but like there are, Easter eggs for the fans who are like looking for everything, right? And then it's also crazy that we watched our fever dream of a movie, Shadowhunters, the movie that we have that episode on. And that's only 30 more minutes than this. And I'm like, you miss so much in the movie. So I do understand, especially like a franchise like this and a series like this, it just makes sense to have it in a series format. It does. There's no way because there's so many layers in the movie. I think but you missed this, or we skirted around this. There's so many details.
In episode 2, which we will not really get into, but in episode 2, they continue the plot line of both the movie and the books, and they go to the Silent City, to the Silent Brothers, to retrieve the memories that have been blocked by Magnus, but they don't know that yet, in Clary's mind. And they go through the whole Silent City. Now, the whole time, okay, now Jessica Marie, you'll appreciate this. Now, when they go, I don't know if you got this far, but they go down into the Silent City and she stands like in the sigil, and then all of the torches light up and all the Silent Brothers are standing there. And I am just thinking in my head, like, Jem is probably in the back, like, you dramatic little asshole. Why are you doing this to her? Like, you do not have to be so creepy and stand there like that, because they all can talk to each other in their heads, right? So, because Jem does show up in the show much later. And
you had me watch, you sent me a YouTube link one time, and like, when we were reading, I was like, what?
And he talks to Magnus, and he's like very sexy. He's got the hair. He's very sexy.
They're like at the pond. They were in Central Park. Yeah.
Brother Snackariah. Oh my God, Jem.
Brother, break my back-ariah. Although, do not break my back. I'm not going to go down that tangent.
It's just really fun to like think, to know these characters and to kind of think like what is going on in that situation. But episode 2, I mean, spoiler, I guess. Episode 2 ends with Simon being taken by Raphael. Of course, that's canon, any which way you cut it. After they leave the Silent City, Isabel loses him. That's the whole thing. And then Simon's going to get turned into a rat. That's its whole storyline. Again, all of that happens in the movie. Like, that's the whole, like, kind of plot line going on in the movie. And we have, I swear it's like 4 seasons of this. So we do get the detail. It is just absolutely crazy to me. And again, this kind of comes with the struggle that it takes to make an adaptation like this, is that in 2016, television was a whole different animal, right? So it is astonishing to me that you have such information in front of you with this like 6-book plot storyline that you can pull anything from. It's insane to me that the showrunners made up stories and plot lines and put them into this for like no reason. It's just nuts. When the
material is right there.
You had so much to work with. I feel like Henry Cavill on the set of The Witcher, like, no, that's not right. That's not right. Change it.
Well, and that's happening again, at least with the off-campus conversations, because you have a lot of people who, not to spoil anything, but it's a series, and there's certain things that happen in the books that impact later on into the other books. And if you start creating your own storylines, everybody's like, wait, we understand, especially to the person who's never read the books. You're like, that can't happen because this will impact XYZ in book 5 or 6. And it's interesting. And I say this with no knowledge, that I feel like there were a lot of conversations with Game of Thrones, Laura, that people were like, well, you have things happening in the show that don't make sense because it never happened in the book, or you're just creating plot lines that make no sense anymore, and you forgot all of the character development.
Lady Stoneheart, don't get me fucking started. All right. I also think that when you have a TV structure that is different than it is now, that there is that like need for filler episodes. But again, you don't need to create stuff when you have so much to work from. Now, I do think that The Mortal Instruments is the hardest material to adapt, because there is no way around the brother-sister storyline. There is no way around it. And they do it here. They do it. The Jace Clary and then Clary Sebastian, they do it. They're faithful to it. And it's just the worst every single time. It's the worst, and it's weird, and it's creepy, and it sucks that you have to live through that to get to everything else. Because you don't get Emma and Julian unless you're here. You don't, and then you don't get Ty, and then you don't get Tessa and Jem and Wilhelmina. Oh my gosh.
And like, I mean, these worlds are just so much bigger than this part. Like, unfortunately, this is, to me, probably the weakest of the ones that we've read. And so it's just unfortunate you have to push through it. But I'm reading this live time, I can understand why people are like, I'm DNFing. Absolutely not. Because it's not even that conversation where they're like, you know what, they're actually step siblings. So there's that, you know, gray area to some people. This was like, they're fully blood related. Now, again, Cassie is on record saying, and I mean, the whole world, every Sunday currently with House of the Dragon, the Targaryens do not, like, everybody's like, every weekend I root for incest. And it's the doubles of, and again, it's interesting, and I'll just put it out there, that those are characters that are written by men.
Those are characters written by men, and that is a conversation in and of itself. Obviously, the show is canceled. The show is canceled. I will tell you specifically why. I'll read it to you. Shadowhunters was canceled in 2018, primarily due to financial complications and the loss of Netflix international funding rather than low ratings. Netflix, which held the international streaming rights and helped cover the show's high production costs, ended its lucrative deal with the production company Constantine Film. Constantine asked FreeForm to increase its funding to make up for the shortfall, but the network declined. As discussed on platforms like Reddit, the economic realities of producing a high-budget fantasy series without Netflix partnership made the continuation impossible. Consequently, FreeForm canceled the series after 3 seasons, but commissioned a 2-hour special finale to wrap up the storylines. It's terrible. It's awful. I will tell you how that ends. It ends with Clary losing her memories.
No.
And going to art school.
Wait, that's not what happens in the books.
Simon loses his memory and goes back to school, and then he has to go. That's how we get Shadowhunter Academy.
Okay, that's why I was like, no, I didn't. I was like, she didn't. Again, I was like, did I miss the plot there? But again, This goes to what you said, where you're like, you have all the source material. Why would you deviate so hard from that?
Ugh, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but that's how it ends. Haha, spoiler, I guess. Okay, so...
Oh, I don't even want to keep watching. I'll watch the first season.
So it is, going back to your thing about, written by men. I also want to point out that it is always difficult to finance a fantasy show. I mean, Of course, there are exceptions to the rule because that's what makes it a rule, right? So you've got the Lord of the Rings show, you've got House of the Dragon, you've got Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. You have these things, these high budget. Editor Sam and I are currently watching Dune Prophecy. Oh, it fucks, dude. It's good. But so we're watching that. It's the Bene Gesserit story. Oh, it's good.
So you recommend it? I should get into it? Okay.
Yeah, but you have to pay attention. It's very atmospheric. It's bloodlines.
I'm going to need something after House of the Dragon. So get me full in.
It's good. It's good. But again, it's just one of those things. So it is part of reality that there just isn't funding for like small budget stuff like this. But now there was a time. There was a place, it was called the Sci-Fi Channel. And this is where things like this thrived. Eureka, Warehouse 13, all of the sci-fi original movies, The Magicians, like this is where you went. This would have gone here and it would have been it's a whole other thing. They could have gone harder with all of it too and dropped fucks in this, you know, like, cause they did with the magicians. Like there was a time, there was a place, it was the Golden Age. It was the Sci-Fi Channel. So it is not surprising then that the funding ran out in 2018 for fantasy because it's just not there. And we still are not in possession of another show. We are waiting for the Fourth Wing show.
Yeah. But even it goes to say, like, it's interesting that I understand where, like, a freeform channel, again, it's 2016, they might not have had the budget, but where it was really coming from, which is Netflix. And I always just think it's funny when Netflix says they can't fund something because all they do is increase their membership. I mean, any of these streaming services, honestly, it's the same thing as all these transits. You keep increasing and giving me no product value. No value of the product that in the service that you're providing. And again, like you said, it's Amazon. I think everybody is waiting on bated breath because it can be great. It has the potential to be great. That being said, knowing proximity is so involved with it. Fuck Amazon. I don't give a fuck about, we've seen what they can do. Proximity. You have them involved. You have Michael B. Jordan involved. He's not gonna, he does not touch anything that he is not passionate about, that he does not, it's not even like he doesn't think it will thrive. He is passionate about storytelling, about, Black storytelling, about, people of color, people of like marginalized communities. And that's what holds true to him. And his direction in the storytelling is the only thing that is giving me confidence in Fourth Wing. It's not, I know it was going to be fine with the fandom and fandom was always going to support it in some way, but to have Michael B. Jordan at the helm and his production studio, that is what is so important to me.
All right, wrapping here. Jessica Marie, did you have a favorite part of this pilot?
I didn't even sit with it to think about that. I think I was more excited when I was like, wait, that's Dorothy. I was doing a lot of comparing to the movie because the movie still feels like a fever dream. I was excited to be like, I understand where the readers were just like, oh, let's try this again. The hopefulness. I think that's what it is. I think my favorite part was like the hope that like, something, cause I can only imagine again, 2016, time and place. Let's try this again. And just the way shows were done then, you had a lot of episodes. It was episodic. Though I do think if they did like Third Time's a Charm, and if they started with the Mortal Instruments, I don't see it like them ever going for the third try. It would have to be like dropping all the episodes at once. I think you need to get everybody hooked and binged because you talk about attention spans. How many times people say like, oh, I'll wait till the whole season's out and then I'll binge it. And then the fanfare happens with people. What's yours? Like, you've seen it just for this watch. You've seen it twice for this episode.
Again, I have to agree wholeheartedly with you. It is this feeling of hopefulness of like, gosh, what are they going to, cause like they get so many things right and then they get so many things wrong. And, the bones are there, but it's different without needing it to be. It's just like, but I guess my favorite part would be the interactions between Isabel, Jason, and Alec. They feel like siblings. They interact like siblings. They have the banter. They have the quickness, the familiarity, the insistence of like family. That's my brother. Later on, I don't remember if it's in the pilot or if it's in episode 2. Jace is like, Alec, why are you so mad? Your family's always been welcome to strays. And Alec is like, you were never a stray. Just, I always appreciated, their parabatai relationship, which we haven't even we don't know what parabatai are yet. We haven't even talked about that. But in the show, but it's always going to be their dynamic. Jace and Clary are not my couple. They've never been my couple. They don't do it for me. If I have to pick, for me, it's Isabel and Simon. I know for you, it's Magnus and Alec.
I don't even feel their chemistry. Like, I feel Simon and Isabel's chemistry. I don't feel chemistry between Jace and Clary in this.
Yeah, I just, but again, people are acting circles around Catherine McNamara. So that's its own conversation to be had. Circles around her and her hair extensions. Hot damn. Editor Sam walked in and saw her hair and go, wow, they tried. So.
Oh, Editor Sam picking up on it?
So he caught that real fast. So, that says something when Editor Sam can spend a split second looking at her hair and go, woo.
You've trained him so well.
so that's something. But again, accessibility, you have to pay for this on Amazon, and it is currently on Hulu. So if you're interested, give it a go. If you're mad at Cassie Clare, do your own research, as we always say, especially now with the conversations about fan fiction and Interview with the Vampire and Anne Rice, all that stuff. Do your own research is always very important. But Shadowhunters will always have just like this place in my heart. I love them so much. And one day, in a perfect world where the environment is fixed and the president is classy, we will have a BBC production of Will, Jem, and Tessa absolutely ripping our guts out.
Oh,
and
that's
what I want.
In our nursing home. And I'll be crying next to you. But that being said, which I wholeheartedly agree with you as well, Laura, feel free to follow us on Instagram. We're at ACOFAE Podcast. We're also both on TikTok, ACOFAE Laura and ACOFAE Jessica. Thanks so much, and we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.
Bye.